The Minnesota Timberwolves have staved off elimination to extend the Western Conference Finals. Hey everyone, this is Sebastian Fonseca here with Spectator Sports. Before we get into breaking down Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, please do us a massive favor. If you can like this video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow and extend to a larger audience. So let's get into breaking down Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota's stars finally have arrived to this series. After struggling for the first 3 games, Karl-Anthony Towns responded, shooting 4 out of 5 from deep, and Anthony Edwards, after 2 kind of so-so games to a decent game in Game 3, finally had a great game, 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, with all 9 assists coming in the second half. I really liked these 2 guys linking up together, and these stars for the Timberwolves finally outperformed the Mavericks star duo. For the Mavericks, Kyrie Irving struggled throughout this ball game. I really saw early on that he just never got settled into this game. 2 early turnovers, missed some very easy shots in the lane, and everything seemed like he had to work very hard to get a decent look, whether it was tough lefty floaters rather than the conventional short mid-range jump shot. He was missing wide open looks and just never felt like he settled in. Luka started off very hot. In fact, he had 17 first half points, but was very quiet in the second half, only shooting 7 out of 21 from the field. And while he did make some clutch free throws earlier in the fourth quarter when he made a chaotic 3-pointer to potentially have a 4-point play, cut the deficit down to 2, he missed the preceding free throw, and that was essentially the game. Let's go back to Karl-Anthony Towns, because I thought he responded. He changed his way of how he usually plays. He likes to set up from the perimeter and work down into the paint. Well, he went kind of reverse in this. After seeing the ball go into the basket early on, he had an early bucket, short shot within the lane, and then he continued to attack the rim. He attacked whether it was Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington at times. A lot of times he was able to drive right by him and get short, easy looks at the paint, and then later he had nice little dump-off passes to Rudy Gobert to get him going as well. So he had exploited the passing game in his offensive arsenal as well. Karl was also good from deep, 4 out of 5, and that is the confidence that we need and the Timberwolves need to extend this series. Anthony Edwards, like I said, he had a near triple-double. He was great at finding guys wide open. There was a really good look where the action was started off with Kyle Anderson. He noticed that Ant was having ISO from the right elbow, and Kyle Anderson, who hasn't gotten a lot of minutes, was really good defensively and short minutes as well on the offensive side. But directing traffic, he directed Cat to get into the short left corner, and as Anthony Edwards drove into the paint, defense collapsed for the Mavericks, left Karl-Anthony Towns wide open, and he proceeded to swish a 3-pointer. Really set the tone in that fourth quarter, and I thought the Timberwolves really had execution to position late, something that they struggled in the first 3 games, and the Mavericks did not execute late at all. There were defensive mishaps, there were liabilities, there were misassignments on defense, silly turnovers, missed free throws, and those are the sloppy things where the Mavericks, where we've seen too many times in this postseason run when you think they have true control. We saw this in the game against OKC. They kind of gave that game away. They had slow starts against the LA Clippers and kind of led to them making it a longer series than they were supposed to be. But yet again, the Mavericks are still up 3-1 heading back to Minnesota. Now the question is this opening up Pandora's box? Because have Minnesota found anything that they can replicate coming back to their home floor? Because if the Timberwolves are able to find something and replicate it in Game 5 and win, now all the pressure heads back to Dallas, because essentially Game 6 you would be playing on your home floor, and we're kind of getting a repeat of last year's Eastern Conference Finals. But definitely think the Mavericks still have the advantage. I mean, they still have 3 more cracks to close out this series, and it would take more adjustments, I think, from the Timberwolves to replicate that. I don't think Kyrie and Luka Doncic are going to shoot below 40% in back-to-back games. I think you're going to see something more from PJ Washington as well. And of course, Derek Lively should be returning after that neck strain he suffered in Game 3. Absolutely, the Timberwolves look great after Game 4, but that was just one game in a short sample size, and we need to see if they can replicate that heading into Game 5.